Late post-match reaction. Manchester United beat Newcastle 1-0 last night in, I know it's very cliche to say, a game of two halves. We're going to break down the game, substitutions, individual performances, and a couple of tactical elements kind of alongside it. Sam and Chive, have you took your tree down yet, lads?
I didn't have a tree up anyway, so.
Of course you didn't. Sam?
I didn't either, because my cat destroys mine, so I couldn't put it up.
Right, okay. So none of you had a tree up to start with, which genuinely those answers don't surprise me at all. Anyone else in the chat, if you did have your tree up and you still got it up, let me know. Apart from that, though, have you had a good Christmas, yeah?
Really good. Really good. Can't complain.
Really good.
Yeah. Lots of drinks and food is the rumour that's going around. What's been had. So that's good stuff. It always helps as well when you have the 3 points.
Can't confirm.
I suppose. Right, let's get into it. So the first thing I want to discuss, Chivi, which I thought was the most kind of pressing thing from Man United, is the kind of tactical side of things. So the tweaking system, let's just say, from Ruben Amorim. Do you think this back four now is the way going forward? Is it a sign of him adapting after finally being after being so stubborn? And were you more impressed with the way we played, say, the first half yesterday?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, and yes to all the questions there. That's for one thing, the players looked a lot more comfortable in that position. And having the two in midfield with the four behind and the three in front, like, even when we moved forward, we seemed to have a lot of attacking options in the final third. And this has always been a big problem that we've had with the previous system. So going forward, yes, I mean, it's first of all, it's a good base to work off of. If you remember, this is what Van Nistelrooy played. He was like 4 games in charge.
Yeah.
And that was the one time that we saw the Casemiro and Ugarte partnership really flourish. Even though yesterday Ugarte was struggling, you could see he was really trying, but at least then we didn't concede too many chances, and the players just looked in sync. Like we that was a really good first half of football, and it was a system where I feel like if they play more of it and they understand their roles, they can build chemistry within themselves going forward. I mean, we could see out games. I mean, it doesn't have to be super amazing, but it could do the bare minimum. We can see out games. We can take a little bit more chances as far as in the final third, and I mean, it's a good base to work off of. If you get what I'm saying. So, yeah, going forward, this is what we should see. I mean, it was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. And I still don't understand. I'd really like to know why, we just threw it all away in the second half. Like we got lucky. We really did get lucky because because Newcastle didn't put away their chances, and if they did, if they drew that game, the attitude, the atmosphere around the club now will be totally different.
Yeah, Sam, Ruben Amorim said after the game, the quotes on the screen for everyone else to read as well. The feeling is good if you compared to other games. We suffered so much more today, but in certain moments we put everything on the line. We are defending every cross, especially if you could see the second half. Sometimes we managed to defend with a back 6. We had so many games when we controlled the opponent so much better, but it's a good feeling to have a clean sheet. We suffered together. If we always have this spirit, we're going to win so many games. Which I thought was quite a bold comment in itself. But I don't know. There's two sides of this coin for me, Sam. I feel like we got the points, right? So we got the 3 points over the line, and that's the main thing to do. And then I look at the Bournemouth game where he does continue to attack, and we end up drawing the game and dropping points. So do we need to find that kind of medium balance?
Yeah, it's a bit all or nothing at the minute, isn't it? It's either all-out attack, which we saw in the Bournemouth game and scored 4 goals, but at the same time you're conceding 4, which should not happen. If you score 4 goals in a game, you cannot concede 4. Like it's just shouldn't be allowed to happen. But then in this game, he's gone the opposite way. He's like, right, I've gone all-out attack, and then I'm worried about the sort of pushback from Newcastle. So like you said, he's gone to a back 6. And I think that's too far. Like, you've gone too far the other way then. Like, the pendulum swung all the way to the other side. I think the substitutions had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, we'll get onto them. Don't worry
Baffling
about that.
decisions in substitutions. That affected the game state, I think, a lot. That definitely affected things. But yeah, I think he's trying to find that balance. And like Chivy said, I thought the first half against Bournemouth and the first half against Newcastle is the two best halves I've seen under Ramrim. Like, we looked in sync, players looked up for it. Even in a depleted squad, like, we're missing Mbumo, Ahmad, Bruno, Mazraoui. Like, we're missing a lot of key players, a lot of first-team players, and we looked pretty good in the first half. Like, Cunha looked on it. Sesko, did he hit the bar in the first half?
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
He looked on it. Dorgu was class. I thought, yeah, there was really good performances all over the pitch. And then, yeah, second half, it felt like he just went, right, just go completely defensive now, back six, and made all his decisions and just kind of ruined the momentum. Like Chivy said, if Newcastle had any sort of quality going on up front, we'd probably draw or lose that game, like, if we're honest, because I think Harvey Barnes, it was Harvey Barnes who hit the bar, or was it Anthony Gordon? I can't remember which one it was. And then there was a couple of goal mouth scrambles. But apart from that, Newcastle didn't really create much, like, beyond that. So if they had any sort of quality that day, probably would have been punished for it, I think.
Yeah, I think Newcastle's away form definitely plays into that. I think they've won once away from home, whereas when you watch them as a team at St. James's Park, sometimes they can just blow teams away. So that definitely played a part in it. But the biggest curveball, and it feels like there's been a curveball almost in each game since we've lost the likes of Mbumo and Ahmad, and maybe that's what is surprising teams a little bit, Chivy, the fact that these managers are setting up. Obviously, they'll have kind of fail safes and things to go back on. But every time they played Ruben Amorim, he has been very stubborn with the back five. So coaches are taken back a little bit. And one of the biggest parts of that was Patrick Dorgu playing on the right-hand side, which, and I specifically come to you with this because I remember you saying, I want to see Dorgu more on the right-hand side. Now, yesterday, he gets the goal. 8 duels won, 5 clearances, 4 ball recoveries, 3 fouls won, 2 tackles, 2 interceptions, 1 chance created, and 1 block and 100% shot accuracy. That is a completely different Patrick Dorgu to what we see. Jesus Christ, Cat, what are you doing? Get out of there. If you could see this on the right-hand side there, honestly, he's just...
I can see it.
It. Yeah,
everybody on YouTube can see it as well.
Yeah, well, yeah. But Patrick Dorgu, please. I've got my cat on my right-hand side. What was he like on the right-hand side for you, Chiba?
Yeah. I remember you and I were actually calling for it. I remember that conversation we had because we'd seen a glimpse of it in the preseason when he played on the right-hand side. And we were like, yeah, we need to see that. And yeah, he looked like, before we signed him, the YouTube highlights that we used to see, we see all sorts of highlights of him. This is what I was expecting when I watched it. When I saw him yesterday, it was kind of like watching him on those YouTube highlights again. He was really good. And just to add to your earlier point about like the formations and stuff, like you could see that Newcastle weren't prepared for how we set up in the first half. Like they just couldn't deal with us. Like they had no clue. And seeing him on that right-hand side, it was almost like A, he had a point to prove, and B, he just felt like he had a bit more freedom going forward. And the chemistry was just almost natural with him and everyone around him. Like, players like Mason Mount and that kind of stuff. Like it was really good. And I mean, yeah, there's so much. I mean, he could have easily won player of the game. If we carried on that way.
Oh, it's Heaven who got it, wasn't it?
Yeah, Heaven got it, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But
the interview as well was just like really youngsters kind of having a bit of a laugh, trying to keep a straight face.
Yeah. Like you could see, like he was cheesing, like he was almost blushing in that interview. But but then you have a player like this, and players who play on the inside foot are like really, really dangerous. And he had better crosses or better, pass. He even had like a really nice pass with his right foot, fizzed in the first half. I don't know if you remember that, but like just seeing him on the right was just perfect because now, I mean, we have an option to Ahmad or Mbumo, to give us that sort of different approach on the right hand side, and it seemed to work in the first half. And then I think he just did a line of coke during the second half. And when I say him, I mean Amarim. I think Amarim just kind of like did a line and then just changed everything. I'm sure we'll probably get into the formations later, so I'll leave my opinion on Amarim later on. But yeah, just speak on Dogo. Yeah, that was brilliant. And hopefully, we'll see more of that.
Yeah, confidence could be a huge thing in football, and obviously
he did mention it as well. He mentioned that in the presser as well. So yeah. Good for him.
I quite like the comments as well when he was like, "Well, Mainoo's injured at the minute. We've kept a clean sheet, so we don't need to do a press conference. We might as well just everyone enjoy Boxing Day and we can just crack on and stuff," which I thought was quite clever and funny. I felt like the players could have done with a line of coke in the second half. The way they dropped off, Sam, the fatigue. The caution, the lack of depth off the bench. Is it a certain thing for you, or was it all the above? Kind of why we dropped off in that second half.
I think the tactical changes from Amarim and the substitutions. I think that's what tweaked it completely. Like we saw Casemiro go off, and who looked as confused as I was at the time. Like he looked absolutely out of his mind of why he was getting taken off, and I was like, "Yeah, I feel you, Cass. I understand. Like, I get it.
Me,
I do not know.
You're taking me off.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I don't get it either. I don't either, man. And then there was some equally bizarre things later on. Like at 88 minutes, you take Lissandro and Shaw off, and you're trying to hold on to a 1-0 lead, and you take your two most experienced players off for really young players. Like if you're trying to save Lissandro's legs and stuff, then take him off at like 65, 70. 88 minutes. Like I don't why? I don't get that. It's just a weird fucking decision. Sesko coming off for Xerxes, I just think didn't work. Xerxes, I think, offered nothing that game. What is it with him in Newcastle? Every time he plays Newcastle, he's awful. He's fucking awful.
Yeah, we all remember that Old Trafford last time, don't we?
Yeah. He didn't offer anything. Like, couldn't hold the ball up. His touch was bad. He was running like he had a backpack on. Like, he just was not good. Yeah. So I think a lot of those substitutions affected the game state and our sort of intent to go forward. And I think the players felt it. So as a result, they sort of like push back a little bit, step back a little bit. But yeah, I think that was on the manager. That I think the players got that win. They held out and played well enough to get that win. But I think the manager, like Chivy said, just decided, I'm a bit bored with being in control and just dominating this game. Let's create some chaos and just see what happens. Yeah. Like it didn't make any of these decisions did not make sense to me, like at all.
Could you imagine that in a World Cup final? If let's say you're 1-0 up and you need to see the game out, and like I don't know, you're England and you see them taking off like, oh yeah, we're just going to take off fucking John Stones in the back, and we're going to take off Declan Rice in the middle of the pitch. And then you're like, what? Yeah. Oh yeah, we're going to chuck these young kids on who haven't really played in the tournament. Like for me, it was weird game management. Obviously, it works, and we kept a clean sheet, and that's ultimately like the be all and end all with these kind of games. But there was a couple in there, Chivy. So the Fletcher for Mount, I think Amarim said in his post-match thing, he felt something, he wanted to continue, but we didn't want to take any risk, which is like, okay, fair enough. On the Casemiro one, he said, I didn't want to take Cunha off because he's the only guy who can allow us to breathe. Jack was fresh, Manny was fresher, we took a chance, they were making a lot of corner runs. I felt like he was going to struggle, but surely, if a team's going to put a lot of crosses into the box, in which Newcastle was doing, and a lot of corner kicks, you want Casemiro on the pitch, do you not?
Yeah,
best header of the ball, like in the team. Like
it's insane. I think he's a case study in self-sabotage with an Amarim. Honestly, I think because I've never seen anyone just see everything going good and then just deliberately attempt to just fuck himself over like this. I can't call it anywhere else. Like this is just he doesn't need any enemies. Honestly, Ruben Amorim, like. All his enemies need to do is just buy a Sky Sports subscription and just watch a game, and then it's just who needs enemies when you can just literally kill yourself? Like honestly, like it's so I wasn't upset because I've kind of just given up already. So I was just like, okay, well, this is another crazy thing he's doing. So I guess that's what we're doing now. But I would have imagined a situation where if you're trying to hold on, like you guys were talking about earlier, what you need is your most experienced players on the pitch. And I would have imagined a situation where, okay, Mason Mount gets injured. You put Xerxes in the 10, leave Sesko on. Like, what does Sesko need to do to finish a game? I really don't get it. You need your strike. He needs confidence. He needs to score a goal.
Yeah.
You put Xerxes on to take all the pressure off. And if you have them two, honestly, because Sesko is, sorry, not Sesko, Xerxes is flexible enough to play that role, even if it's for half an hour. I'm sure he can play that role really well. I'm sure I can draw the players onto him and then give, Benjamin Sesko a little bit more freedom. And he just throws everything away. And then immediately you take Casemiro off and we just start conceding pressure. And it just grows and grows and grows. And I remember I was on the phone for a while, so I was kind of like distracted in the second half of the game. And every time I would look, we just looked a little bit more bizarre than 5 minutes prior. And I really couldn't work out what the system was. And it was literally 6 men defending. That means you've only got 4 outfield players. Xerxes all the way up and all on his own. And then it's like, and then Dorgu's on the left again. And I'm like, what's going on? So the only thing I can hope for is that he has learned from this second half. And I've said this 1,000 times, like even under Ten Hag, it's like I always hope they learn from their mistakes, but we don't seem to see that. So I hope he's learned from it. I hope he's taken the positives from the first half and completely just forgotten what happened in the second half. So we can go forward. We've got Wolves next, apparently, which is a fantastic opportunity to get another valuable 3 points. Well, we'll see what happens there, man.
Sam, did you think lack of depth we'll get away with considering the next 3 games? So we've got Wolves, Leeds and Burnley, our next 3 fixtures. And then obviously AFCON, I think, ends, is it like mid, or I think the players come back, is it like mid-January, like 20th of January, around that area?
I think, is it not like towards the end of January?
Is it?
Depending on where they get to.
Oh, interesting.
Not sure. I'll double check. Anyway.
But those 3 games are the kind of favourable, right? So you think maybe we'll get away with it. But then I think we play Arsenal and City in January as well. So that's when it's going to be really telling, right?
Yep. And there's no guarantees that when those players come back that they're going to be 100% fit. So obviously they've played up to half a season and then they've flown out to Morocco, played a bunch of games in different days and stuff like that, and then had to fly back to the UK and then probably play straight away. So it's like, is there going to be some tiredness there? Is there going to be some injuries? Is there going to be a bit of sort of disjointedness? Like, you don't know how that's going to affect things. So even if it's not like it's all going to be roses once Ahmad and Mbeumo come back, like it could be take a while to get back to that. So there's that consideration as well. But yeah, the next couple of, we've said this so many times. That what really annoys me is we've had these games where other teams have dropped points and we've got the ability to capitalize and get into the top 5, and we've fucked it up every time. That yesterday was the first time we've held on to a win and we capitalized on a team we should be beating and got into the top 5. Like, imagine where we could be right now if we would have capitalized on Everton, on Bournemouth, on who was the other one? West Ham.
Yeah.
Like, we'd be like pushing 2nd, 3rd. It's ridiculous. Like, that's the bit that really annoys me. So we'll probably beat Arsenal or get a draw, and we might beat City or get a draw. But I don't trust these fuckers to do something against Wolves and the other guys. I don't trust them.
Yeah.
Leeds are no joke either. Like, Leeds are not. Yeah.
No, I especially at Ellen Road as well. You think like the performances there and some of the big teams that they've beaten or at least took points off this year. I agree with that, but I don't know. Like I've said this about a million times before as well. I hope they've learned the lesson, like you just said, Trev. I hope they like you get to these games, you think this is your real opportunity now, where you can really build on it. But it's hard to trust them because we've had that so many times before, and they just fucking let you down, man. So, look, I'd rather end the preview on a couple of positives, and we can't end it without speaking about some of these individuals. So let's start off with Lisandro Martinez, because since he's come back into the team, I think he has been, even when he played as a 6 against Aston Villa, but as a centre-back last night, 89% pass accuracy, 48 touches, 7 clearances, 5 passes into the final third, 0 goals conceded, obviously a clean sheet, and didn't get dribbled past once. Not to mention, obviously, the ability on the ball that he carries, which is one of the best in Europe, in my opinion. His first start, Chive, since his ACL injury back in February, and he looked right up to speed. He was just a monster. Is he a starter now after seeing that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you mentioned his ability on the ball there. Like for me, that's just his most unique quality as a centre back, and it really helps us play a lot better when you have someone that's so comfortable on the ball. From behind, they've got the whole view in front of them. They've got, and he's got such an incredible footballing brain as well.
Yeah.
So he knows when to draw the pressure on, because he can beat the press anything like easily.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I could go on and on about how good he is on the ball, but then like, it's the leadership as well that he gave us. Like it was one of those things where we really needed that leadership at the back, and him and for someone like Aiden Heaven, like that's what you need next to you. Like you don't need another, sort of inconsistent, maybe young player next to you, sort of thing. Like you need someone to just calm your nerves. Someone who's a leader who's really good at what he does, and that's and I think that's one of the reasons why we saw a really good performance from Aiden Heaven as well. Not taking anything from Heaven, I mean his abilities really came through, but then it just makes your job a lot easier when you have that sort of assurance next to you. And I think Lisandro was kind of like he rolled back the years really to what he was in the first season. That time when he had a really good first season, and it's just happy to see him back. Hopefully he can stay fit, and we see more of that. And I'd like to see him in the sixth role again, if possible, at some point.
Yeah.
When we get people back like Maguire and De Ligt, and I mean, it wouldn't do us any harm if we see him in those positions, and then you have people like that behind you. Like honestly, it would be something of dreams.
You could do a lot worse than having him as an emergency 6 if you need him in there, because he just looks so comfortable. Sam, speaking of positions, what do you think his best position in the team is? Do you prefer him as a central centre back on that left side, as a midfielder? Like, where do you want to see him more?
I think the left centre back's probably his best role, but he seems to be equally comfortable in a lot of roles. Like he could, like you said, he plays central centre back at times. I thought he had a really good showing when he was a defensive midfield in the 6.
Yeah.
I'm sure he could play right centre back as well if we put him there. I'm sure he'd do a great job as well. But obviously, you've got this whole footed, like Amarin doesn't like same footed people in that side position. Like, so there's that. But the fact that he was selected as captain and nobody questioned it, everybody just went, yeah, that makes sense. Like, It's just, that's the guy. That's the guy that you pick. Leader on the pitch. He's constant communicating. He's constantly telling like where players he wants and what he wants to do. And like Chivy said, which is a great point, like it's probably why Aiden Heaven had one of his best games, because he had a guy like that next to him where he's like, I don't have to worry about this defensive thing because I've got Leacher next to me. And I think that defensive thing, I think it could be a really interesting. You got Leacher, Aiden Heaven, and De Ligt. I think that could be a really good, strong center 3. That I think that could be really good.
But all of them seem more comfortable in a back 4 from the games that we've seen, don't they? And the question would be then,
I agree,
is who's the best partnership going forward?
That remains to be seen, man. That really remains to be seen. But because if you think about it, like we have Leniero, who I think would thrive in the back 4. We've got De Ligt and Maguire, who are experienced in the back 4. We've got Aiden Heaven, who's coming through. I haven't even mentioned Leacher, right? Like
Luke Shaw
as well is comfortable. Like it could, but like it could be any of them, to be honest. But I think what's most interesting is that we have a really good balance of young and experienced centre backs. So we've got your young centre backs in Aiden Heaven and Leniero. And then you've got your experience in Leacher, Maguire, and De Ligt. And given the injury history of especially the established players, we could almost see some sort of rotation. I feel like defenders are more, central defenders, really. I think they're a lot more comfortable in that two partnership, because like I don't know whether I was saying this last time or previously, but I did mention it here before. Like the last thing a centre back wants is to be isolated on the wing. Like that is the last thing anyone wants. Because any tricky winger like would love to just take on a very, no matter how mobile you are as a centre back, any tricky winger would love that, to just have someone isolated on the wing. And but then when you have your centre backs in the position where they're naturally suited to, it just makes it a lot more easier. But to answer your question, I would Leisha definitely as one of them, because he's left-footed. It's more natural to him. And I would like to see someone like Leisha and maybe De Ligt, or Leisha and Maguire, one of the two. I'd love to see that. If we must play anyone else other than them, then I'd like to see him in the 6, either for Cass, or if Bruno's not back, or, I'd like to just see him there. Honestly, yeah. So either one, would make a good partnership.
It's weird how we've got a luxury of centre backs. We've only kept 2 clean sheets all season. I find it baffling because I don't think the centre backs are that bad. I think there's some good, decent quality in there. And I even look at Aiden Heaven now, and I think obviously after the game against West Ham, £1 million is crazy, by the way, from Arsenal.
It's insane.
The start against West Ham was weird, wasn't it? Like, he got booked really early and it was like shaking. Like, maybe he's not ready for this level. But then after every game that I've watched him, he's just got better and better and better. And I've got some kind of stats again to back these up, because I know everyone loves some stats. But 100% duels won. So ground duels and aerial duels, won them all. 94% pass accuracy. And if you actually watch him on the ball as well, like the way he plays through lines is solid. 8 clearances. He had some really important blocks early on as well in that game. No fouls committed. Obviously, clean sheet added to that as well. This guy, I mean, he's going to be difficult in his hand to take out the team.
Well, that's what Amrin said in his press conference, didn't he? He said if he keeps playing like that, he's going to have trouble taking him out. Like he's got his place in this team.
That's another lie.
It's weird how. yeah. I know. If it was true, Chivy, let's just take it at face value. But
sorry,
let's take it at face value. No, it's all good. I think it is weird how people talk about like these young players and stuff like that, and nobody's really spoke about Aiden Heaven in the media. Like nobody's mentioned anything. Fact that we picked this kid up
Keep him out of the media.
for £1 million. Yeah. I don't. No. I agree. But like nobody said anything. It's £1 million. Stole from your rivals. And he's come in and he's been a first-team player since last season. And this season he's started to come on leaps and bounds, and he looks established, like an established player already. He's phenomenal and he had a great performance yesterday. And nobody said a word. Nobody's absolutely said a word about it. And it's nice for once that a young player can get his head down, just play well, get praised by the fans and United and all that sort of stuff. And nobody's criticizing him. Nobody's going at him. Nobody's like sort of going in for him, and it's nice to sort of get along and just that. So yeah, I'm really happy with his thing. And people who go, young players not quite good enough and stuff, that normally comes when you pay a massive fee for him, like Lenny Yoro, for example. But £1 million, if he's not quite there yet, nobody's bothered, because you paid pennies for him. Of course he's not going to be the finished article yet, so he's going to get time and he's going to get patience.
I think it's because he didn't come with the hype. Lenny Yoro had like Real Madrid after him, and I think Liverpool were after him as well. So he didn't come with that hype. He just kind of, it wasn't under the radar, but then it was kind of like, it's just, it was kind of like a prospect. And Arsenal have another centre back who's like coming through as well. So I think they felt comfortable. Hey, Nick, don't do it.
No. I thought you were going to say, so we should go buy him as well.
No. No, they've got another young centre back coming through, and they kind of just felt comfortable letting Lenioro go, that sort of thing. So, like I said, it wasn't really under the radar sort of thing, but then, people didn't really gravitate towards it as much. And I just hope it continues. I hope, but it's impossible because it's Man United, and you can never really have a performance under the radar, because fans will start to rave about you, and then people will start to write about you, and then that's how it goes. But yeah, I really hope it carries on the way it is for now.
Yeah, I have to say I know it's small sample size, but he's becoming one of my favourites watching him because I just think he's everything you want in a modern day centre back. Like the guy's comfortable on both feet. He's great in the air. He's quick. Like if someone gets in behind him, he's quick. I just think the main thing that he needs to improve on is what you get with experience anyway. So all these seasoned, the typical Italian centre backs that you see that have those kind of sides of the game where they know how to manage it, or those little tugs on the shirt when someone's in, like things like that you see.
Yeah,
Little clever
dark arts, a little bit of dark arts.
Yeah, clever nuanced things. I think that'll come to his game. But as a pure athletic centre back and a modern day centre back, I think he's got all the tools, and that must be exciting because the kid's 19.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
it's also as well. It's also as well. Like credit to Ineos for spotting this talent and going out and going, he's £1 million. He's got all these fundamentals, and we could turn him into a great player. And he's coming to the team, and he's barely looked out of place. Like I think that is a credit to the sort of recruitment team and stuff like that. That's exactly the type of players we should be targeting as a recruitment team.
Yeah.
Can I just also add, like, I never really rated him until yesterday. Not like rated him, but there were still question marks for me. Over Eden Heaven. It wasn't until because he had a really good game against Wolves, but then that's Wolves, right? And then there was a little bit of freedom and stuff. But then yesterday was the day that actually just nailed it down for me. It was like, okay, there's something, because if you remember, I actually rated Tyler Fredrickson. Like when I saw him the first time, I was like, I love the way he was passing the ball and how calm he was. But it was the maturity that Heaven showed yesterday. Like it wasn't just about him being a good defender and winning duels and all that. It's just maturity on the ball and just making the right decisions and just making it look simple. Right. If you don't overcomplicate it, like football can really be a simple sport if you don't overcomplicate things. And for me, that's what just did it for me. Like he didn't seem like, I don't know how old he is, but he didn't seem like 19 or 20-year-old. He kind of, the decisions he made were kind of like, someone that maybe a 20, 24, 25-year-old sort of player.
Yeah. And just as a parting statement to kind of wrap the show up, because I think that's a good place to leave it. You look at the youngsters that was left on the pitch by the end of the game. Lamont's in net, he's obviously 23. Heaven, 19. Yoro came on, he's like 20. I suppose if you're looking at it like that, like it's a little bit tricky at times at the minute, and we're not exactly the best defensive player. But the future going forward, if they keep recruiting how they're doing, if you bring in seasoned players like you've seen with Cunha and Mbumo, who then keep getting little steals like Aiden Heaven and things like that, I think that's kind of the perfect marriage going forward to be a successful club, or at least to be on the right track and have that right blend. So in that regard, it's nice to see.
They seem to be continuing it as well. Like we've seen the recruitment over the last couple of years, like Chido Obi, Sekou Kone, JJ Gabriel, like Samuel Lascelles. Obviously, this summer we're looking at Elliot Anderson, Carlos Poliba, those kind of guys, experienced Premier League players, and then we've got these young kids coming through. So that seems to be the trend that we're going with. And like you said, Nick, that is the perfect way to sort of build a squad and build a team going forward, because these flash in the pan, sign the biggest name or sign the biggest star, it just doesn't work anymore. Like it doesn't work for anybody anymore.
Yeah. Can I just ask you a question, Nick? Because I know you wanted, but what did you make of Cunha yesterday?
Do you know what? I was critical of him the first couple of months. I wanted more from him because I just didn't think we got the player that I've seen at Wolves. But I have to admit, the past couple of games, I think he's been a breath of fresh air, man. I think he's starting to show the character. I'm not saying his performances are incredible by any stretch of imagination.
No, but I mean yesterday.
Yesterday specifically. I had quite a few drinks yesterday, so my analysis might not be the best analysis. But I don't know. I thought he dragged us up the pitch when we needed at times. I thought he showed a bit of character, but then was quiet in other moments as well. So I wouldn't rave about his performance yesterday, but I didn't by any stretch think he was bad. Why would you?
I still think it was below. But the first half he was really good.
Yes.
But he was really good in the first half. But the second half, I don't know. Like when the pressure starts to build, it's almost as if he has like what they call those things, blinders, where he plays like that.
Blinders.
Yeah, and then he doesn't look, because there was so many occasions where he could have fed the ball through, and I was really I was disappointed in Cunha, especially in the second half, because that's when we needed people, some of those experienced players, and the experience did not show midfield yesterday. But yeah, I just thought that's
One thing I will say as well, just to add on to it, whilst I can, a little chat. Mason Mount, when he's off the pitch, we're a different team. Mount, for whatever anyone says about any of the players that we have, when he is on the pitch, United are better. Simple as that.
I don't think anyone can really talk about Mason Mount as far as this season goes.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think you can use the same brush that you painted him with last season. I mean, this is coming from probably one of Mason Mount's biggest critics. Like, I did not see the point of Mount in this team. Like, I was just like, what's the point of this guy? But yeah, this season, I have to hang my hat, man. Like, yeah, he's changed completely. And I just hope we continue to play like this in this the first sort of formation. Please, Amarim, carry this on, please.
Who knows? Who knows?
I hope he's not injured.
Yeah.
Please don't be injured either.
No,
like I hope he's not like bad injury. Yeah. I hope not, because we, like you said, Nick, we need him. Please don't be injured.
Yeah. Who was your man of the matches, lads, from last night? Just to finish on this.
I think I'll go with Heaven. I'll go with Heaven. With Dogu close as a close second, but I think Heaven, because just over the full game, he was just consistent the whole game.
Yeah, Heaven or Leacher, I think, would be in my contention. Yeah. I think they were both excellent. Really, both excellent.
Yeah, I think we have to start the next game against Wolves. I'd have both of them in there.
Yep. I agree.
The rest scrap it out and then see who's available. I think Maguire's close to returning as well, so I'm sure Amarin will be keen to get a bit more experience in that back line. But yeah, look, we've got a decent run of games coming up. Like I said, we've got Wolves, Leeds, and Burnley. And Chivy's ready for his bed now, so I think that's probably a good time to go. Appreciate you all. Please do subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video for us, and drop us a follow on socials as well for all the reaction from yesterday and more. And